All right. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk with Patrick podcast, one of the realest podcasts in the world, the land, the galaxy, and the whole entire universe. And I have another guest. She's a Reiki master, right? Am I
That's
correct?
right.
All
Mm-hmm.
right, cool. This is Kim Lady. How's everything going?
Very well today, thanks. And you?
I'm tired, but I'm okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just staying busy and just trying to evolve and grow. My meditation kind of slacked a little bit,
Yeah.
but I'm going to work on it this week. Well, today. Yeah, that's the plan at least.
Well, it's a work in progress, right? And
It,
it's
it
habit
is.
forming, so it's hard to get out of a habit and get into new ones. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm human.
Yeah.
I give myself grace. I try to
Aren't
at
we
least.
all?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to know, um, what got you into being a Reiki master?
So, I had a lot of health issues growing up and had some traumas growing up, which caused some health issues. And so, seeing traditional doctors, one right after the other, trying to figure out what was going on with my gut or why was I having certain pains or discomforts, wasn't getting me anywhere. One would refer me to another one. And so, one year I saw 10 doctors. And it's like, this is ridiculous. I know it's not in my head. These symptoms and feelings are real. And so I went the holistic route, and I went to this young lady who is kind of doing, she's more advanced, but she's doing some of the things that I am doing. And the first visit, immediately I noticed a change, and I noticed something shifted and something felt better. And after seeing her for years, we were able to release a lot of the traumas, come to the core of what some of those issues were. And I was feeling better. It was like I was a human being again. I wasn't consumed by pain or issues that were taking over my life to where I couldn't think, feel, or whatever, because the pain was just so intense that there was a year I couldn't even work. It was just that intense. So I thought, this is the route I want to get into, right? This is working. There's something to this, and I went in on it. So that's kind of where I got into. I took some Reiki classes and got my certification and kind of did it on my own for a little while, and immediate friends or family. And then I just felt like I needed to advance with that and just open up my own practice. And that's what I'm doing now.
That's amazing. So were you always into spirituality?
I think so, but not realizing it, because when you get blocked from traumas or sicknesses, you don't know your true congruent self. So it'd be one of those things. Do you want to go out for dinner? Yeah. Well, what would you like to have to eat? I don't care. Well, where would you like to go? I don't know. You don't have the mindset to make a simple decision. It's one of those where you just kind of go with the flow, and whatever anybody else wanted to do, that's what we did, or I did. And then once I started peeling those layers, which is what Reiki is somewhat about, it's like an onion. You peel those layers and you get to the core. And then it's like, now I know what I want. As a matter of fact, this is what I would like to go. This is what I would like to have. This is where I would like to be, or who I would like to be with, or whatever. So, you're able to make those decisions and not feel like you've got a head full of fog, or not be able to think for yourself. Yeah.
So is it hard for you to not say yes sometimes, or you got used to not saying yes to things you don't want to do?
Oh no, I have boundaries.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Yeah,
Good.
no. So I know how to say yes or no, and I'm very clear
So you don't feel
within
bad about
myself.
it?
I don't feel bad about it. I don't live in the guilt. Um, Guilt's not a good place to be in. It's not a healthy place to be in. So it's one of those where I've listened to my spidey senses, or motherly instincts, if you will. And if it doesn't feel right for me, I might not know the full reasonings behind it. I just know something's off and I just don't feel right. So then I can say yes, or I can say no, and then I can just be okay with it. I would rather do that than go ahead and say yes or no to something and then feel miserable
Oh,
in the
yeah.
meantime, which has happened to us, right? We've all been there. Nobody's immune to any kind of pain or suffering or guilt. It's just learning how to overcome it and recognize it, and what do we do with it.
So do you consider that like learning behavior as far as like saying nice all the time? Was your mother like that? Or was your father like that? Or what?
Um, That's a good question. I think some of it was learned behavior because you know what my mother might like, I might not like, right? It might not resonate for me. And my parents parted when I was 7. So I really didn't know my father all that well.
Mm.
So I had my mother. But at the same time, we're two different people and we have different likes and different beliefs, but yet we can be the same at the same time, right? But I think a lot of it's just a learned behavior, setting boundaries for yourself because you as an individual know what would be right for you more than I would. And the same for me.
And you have siblings, right?
I have a sister.
And
Mm-hmm.
she's in Colorado. She's out east.
She's in Tennessee.
Tennessee. Okay. Okay. In the
Mm-hmm.
South. Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Southern
Mm-hmm.
food.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
So,
the good stuff.
so you're from what state was it? You said Massachusetts,
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. My bad. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was born in Pennsylvania and lived there till I was 7 till my parents parted ways. And then we moved to Texas and Florida and Maryland and then back to Pennsylvania again. And then when my husband and I got married, we moved here to Colorado and we've been out here since 91.
Okay, so you really from here, to be honest, because that's been
right?
over 30 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This
Colorado,
feels like home.
well, it's different, right? It's a different scenery. The people are pretty friendly for the most part, pretty open-minded.
Yeah.
And then you got the natural beauty.
That's right.
With the mountains. I go hiking. I'm sure you go hiking too.
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's pretty profound. So were your family kind of religious or no when you was growing up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Like Christian or what?
Yes.
Okay.
Christian. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I came up Christian as well, and like I say, as I got older, I became more spiritual than anything because I feel like all religions say the same thing. They just say it differently, like about being a good human. And I try to be a good human. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes along the way, but I try to do the right thing. I try to sleep with a clear conscience, if that makes sense.
Oh, sure. And as we all should. And I think if we're riddled with that guilt, again, it weighs heavy on us. So when you live in the truth of yourself, there's less guilt that's there. So, you know, when you're living in a lie, however that is, it weighs heavy on you and you don't feel right. And then I think that's where disease or sicknesses come into play. But when you live within the truth, you can breathe freely, you can feel freely, and you can walk with your head up high. There's no shame, right? There's no discourse or discomfort. So it's one of those where you can just kind of go with whatever comes your way within that day because you know that you're doing the best of the best that you can and being congruent to who you are.
Absolutely. So what was your injury that you had?
What was my what?
Injury you had.
Oh.
Was it your back or your...
No, it was abdominal issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was a lot of issues to where then I developed endometriosis, which is female things.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So, but you know, sometimes the endometriosis can be a really a beautiful or brutal, is what I wanted to say, issue, because a lot of it was attached to my bowels and some of it was attached to my female organs. And so, you know, sometimes I would see the gastroenterologist and the gastroenterologist would say, you need to see a gynecologist. So they were flip-flopping me back and forth to one another. But what happened then is what we took care of is the core problem of that. So I was in a lot of pain. And what I was doing is I was feeding that pain emotionally and physically. So I was saying, I have, instead of saying, I'm going to heal, I'm going to overcome this. This isn't going to overtake me. I fed it. I had, and then I went into that woe is me kind of mentality and martyrism. It's like, well, I can't do that because I have, you know, a stomach pain or I have a disease or I have an ache or whatever. And I had to take charge of my life and let it know that I am not going to let that overcome me anymore. I'm not disputing pain and I'm not saying that it's real, but when you feed suffering and pain, it will go 10 times fold. It will just exasperate to a point that it consumes you and then you can't live, right? You just don't feel like you have any purpose. And so it's one of those where I had to come to the realization of some things that happened in my life, overcome those fears, and then take charge of my life to the point where I'm at now. So also different things in the energy realm and of Reiki different things mean different things as far as where the pain might even be located within your body. So, like the fingers, the thumb is fear. If this is worry, obviously the middle finger's anger. A lot of people know that one, right?
Yes.
They're easy to flip that one. The ring finger's grief, and then the pinky is pretending, not being who you truly are. So everything's related on an energetic level. And so once you come to realize, oh, my thumb really hurts today, once you realize that that's a fear based, oh, okay. So then you say to yourself, what's the fear that I'm feeling at this moment? What is happening, or a thought that came through my mind that triggered me to feel uncomfortable or feel some fear? And then it seems like once you come to that realization, or that light bulb goes off, if you will, you'll notice a lot of times that pain's going to go away. And it might come back. We all have it. There's things that we all get triggered by. It could be something as simple on a commercial. It could be something that somebody said. It could have been another layer of that onion being peeled. And it's like we're still getting to that core of things. And so things come up at different times within our life, but you can overcome them if you have that mindset and that strive to get well and get whole again.
So with this said, do you struggle with any kind of fear right now or no?
Um,
Or do you worry sometimes?
I don't worry.
Okay.
Worry to me is a waste of time.
Facts.
So I try to live in the moment, and I try to stay focused in today. I know I have to plan a few things maybe for the future, but I don't live in them. I don't want to miss the blessings that I've been given today. Like when we met, there was hawks, and then you could hear the owls in the
Yeah,
trees,
very
right?
true.
And there was just squirrels running around, or whatever. They might seem like simple things, but I truly believe the universe gives you signs at all times, and they might just be meant for me, or if you're sitting somewhere, they're just meant for you. But settling down and taking notice to those things and taking them in, and then just saying thank you. We need to offer up more gratitude, because it's so easy to be, well, rant, 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 right? It's easy to complain. And instead of just offering up that gratitude, we might be missing some of those blessings. So we need to just slow down and take in the moment that we're living and given at that time.
That's the biggest thing I see with social media these days. Like people are very agitated. They will find things to just trigger themselves. They'll just share things, and I just can't do that. I have so much I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to protect my peace, and that's the biggest thing. Like I'm learning more about it as I age, and plus, like after meeting you, you open my eyes a lot more after those sessions we done.
Yeah, good.
And because I remember when you did the first session, I felt when you put your hand behind my neck, I felt like this electric impulse.
Yeah.
And because at first my brain was like moving 100 miles per hour, and for some reason it just stopped. Mm-hmm. It was real relaxed and calm.
Right. So a lot of times there's a meridian point to every part of your body. So you put your fingers on certain spots, or I can go across your body and scan, and you can feel a spot that might be warmer than others, or some spots that might feel cool. When you put your hands together like that, do you feel the warmth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So pull it away a little bit more. Do you still feel it?
Not as much compared to when it was closer.
So that's energy.
Right.
That's what I feel. So I can feel out to here and out to here. I can't explain it all. I just know that it's a gift that I have been given, but I can feel pulsating rays or heat. Like if you were at a desert, you see those heat waves, right? Yeah. So I can feel that across a person's body. And if it's warm, things are stagnant and stuck. If it's cool, things are kind of moving. So then I just go to the next spot. The same thing when we do the access bars, which is 32 points on the head, and it just focuses on the head. It's not like Reiki where it works throughout the body. It works throughout the body. I'm not placing my hands across, but it's just 32 points that work, and you can feel the pulses of things. And sometimes if they're off, they're not in sync. So this might be pulsing and this side might be pulsing, and we've got off. They should be moving together. And so it's one of those just hitting those spots, and it's 32 points, and then eventually till it's all done, they're flowing and things are working together. And then you're not in that brain fog anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just thinking and you're feeling and you're flowing in a more steady pace, and you've just slowed down and you're staying in the moment, because we all get these black clouds over our heads, right? The things that are just bugging us, and we need to start flicking them. And not today. I'm not having this conversation today. We're going to just calm down, and we're just going to be in the moment. And that's what happens with Reiki or the access bars. It just settles your system down and eases that flow and might release that pain, because you've left or got rid of that emotion that was attached with it.
The access bar, this is what you gave me, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the first time.
The first time, yes. Yes, because you gave it to me to take home with my necklace, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah. I remember that. Yep. Yeah. I still have it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
So when did you discover your gift?
Oh, probably when I started having my onion peeled and layers peeled. That was back in 2003, and probably 2005. It took a while for me to recognize, oh, what is this? Or who is this? Because then as I started becoming more aware of things I liked or didn't like, I was developing a personality, if you will, and becoming my own person. And I remember thinking, I wonder if my husband's going to like who I am. I wonder if I'm going to like who I am. And the more that I had so-called an opinion, and you can have an opinion without being snarky and rude and what have you, but I kind of liked it because I was taking ownership of myself, and I was having my own two legs and had my voice. Because, I told you before, I had a tumor removed on my neck.
Yeah, you said that.
Because I wasn't speaking my voice. Somebody would say something rude or disrespectful about me or a family member or a friend or whatever, and I would just take it. I wasn't speaking my voice and saying, hey, that kind of hurt me. I didn't really appreciate that or whatever. It's like, oh, I probably deserved that, and that's how I would look at it. She's right or he's right. I don't deserve any better. And now it's like, no, that's not okay. You stepped on a boundary. You stepped over, what I stand for and what I believe in. And that's just not okay. And, using my voice and just calling people on it is just kind of where I'm at now. And again, you can do it without being rude and disrespectful, but you can set those boundaries and stay true to them.
Wow, that's amazing. Huh. I want to tell you this though. Ever since that third session we had with my lower back.
Oh yeah.
I really haven't had many issues.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, some days it can.
Right.
It's okay. It's whatever, but for the most part, I've been pretty good.
Well, you've taken ownership to it because we talked about it a lot and the reasoning behind it. And once you have that light bulb moment, there flicks that black cloud, right? It's not hanging over me anymore.
Absolutely.
And so you're not feeding it, and then it's going to be released.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's a beautiful thing. You should be very proud of yourself.
I'm
for
very
that.
proud.
You should be.
Yes.
You really should be.
Yeah. I mean, because like compared to where I was last year, it's a big difference now. And, because our backs control everything.
Right.
We cannot do the simple things like picking up trash or anything.
Right.
And, because one of my friends, he's going through that right now. He's having a hard time. And I told him, you got to work on your mindset. Right. That's the biggest thing. Work on your mindset. Because I watch like Joe Dispenza sometimes.
Oh,
and, Wayne Dyer.
Right.
And people like that. I try to, be more in tune with the universe, and also be in tune with my thoughts as well, and control what I'm thinking and what I'm feeding myself.
Well, that's so true, because, what we look at is now within our hearts, and it comes out of our mouths. So we need to be careful what we're reading, what we're watching, because we can take that on, and whether it's negative or positive, right? And so, and it's interesting, the mind, how it works, because I could look at you and go, you look tired, or do you have a headache, or, you don't look so good. Are you getting a cold? And then before you know it, if we take that on, it's like, well, yeah, my throat is a little scratchy, or, oh, I think I do have a little bit of a headache. We can feed on that. And it's like, nope, I'm good. You got to nip it right then and there. And it's like the power of suggestion is a huge thing. So you just got to be careful with your words and how you take them on.
Yeah. So with that said, do you recommend therapy for people?
Oh, I think therapy is a good thing for some people, but I think sometimes there's other modalities out there like Reiki or access bars, yoga, I think, or a diet, depending on what you're going through. I'm not against it.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you deal with your own traumas right now?
I've released them to the point where I really have a hard time even remembering what they were. To believe it, to be honest, is one of those things that those layers have been peeled and they're not mine to carry anymore. Whatever happened to me is not mine anymore. And I know what I want to look for again, what I'm looking for, what I'm feeling, and what I'm speaking. So it's one of those, I'm not going to feed that, but those layers have been released, and I can't even think of some of the things that I have gone through or before I lived in. It's like, oh, I can't, go certain places or do certain things because I would get triggered. And no, I don't feed it. I don't give it any power.
So do you think you 100% healed?
I don't think I'm 100%. Okay. No, I think we're all a work in progress. Mm-hmm. I think until the day we die, there's always a lesson in something that we're going through. I think I just look at it differently. I think I process things before I think about them. I think if I feel something in my right knee, which energetically speaking means fear of things in the future, it's like, oh, so why did my right knee just hurt? What just happened around my environment? Or what was I just thinking of? What thought came through my mind? And then if I can just take that in for a moment and replay what maybe just happened in the last 10, 15 seconds that my knee started to hurt, I can place it and I can give it some love and grace and go, either this conversation's over because that's not true, or, oh, I remember that now. Okay, let's work on that. So I play in my mind or say some words of love and grace and try to figure out how I can let that memory dissipate and go away. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Okay. So I think everything is related in some way, shape, or form. It's just on how you're going to feed it and what you're going to do with it. Are you going to live in that suffering and that pain? Or are you going to figure out the lesson in it and then move forward with it?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So what does it mean when your left knee hurt?
A fear of things from the past.
Okay, duh.
No, that's okay. I mean, sometimes the obvious isn't that obvious, but it's just, everything means something. So it's just learning what it means and what's there. Yeah.
You see, you don't have those issues even now?
Like physical pains? Mm-hmm. No, amazing. Occasionally I'll get a headache. Rarely, but occasionally I'll get a headache. My former employer, I think I shared this with you one time. It was just he and I in the office, and he might come out and ask me to do a specific job or do a new program on the computer, which I'm not computer savvy as well as I would like to be.
Really? You?
Yeah.
Okay.
But my right knee would hurt, and now I'd have to sit back and think, oh, now is it the project that he's asking me to do? Was his tone a little snarky? Or did it trigger me something? There's a fear base there. And once I would figure it out, that pain would go away. And it's like, oh, okay, now you have resources. You can Google anything, right?
Yeah.
And then I know other, because like I said, it was just he and I in the office. I know other medical office. I could call somebody there and just pick their brain on it, right? So there's just different modalities, but at the same time, we all get triggered by something. Sometimes I cry on a commercial and it's like, what was that all about? It was a commercial, but you just got to think about it, process it, and figure out what triggered you on it.
So you big on holistics, right?
I am. I have a naturopathic doctor that I see now. I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of walking. I feel like for me, you have to find what works best for you. So nature works best for me. And whether it's just around the parking lot of my office complex or in the driveway of where I live or wherever that works, just listening to the birds, feeling the sun on my face or how blue is the sky today, whatever it is, I just try to take that in and then offer up the gratitude and thankfulness during that moment. Are things perfect in my life? No. But I'm working on just being able to handle situations better so that when that trauma does come up or fear does come up, I'm able to look at it and process it, and not be triggered by it and figure out what's the best way for me to handle this and what's the lesson in this for me.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, I think like the mindset plays a huge role in a lot of this stuff.
That what does?
Mindset.
Oh,
the way we think, the way we think about ourselves, the way we just approach things in general. And do you feel like, I don't know, I had a conversation a while back, but do you feel like we can program ourselves to get sick as far as like catching a cold?
If our body, that's why I said to you, you know, are you getting a headache?
Right.
And you don't feel it. And then the next thing you know, oh, I feel like I'm getting a headache. If we can make ourselves sick, we can make ourselves well. So if we start saying, I choose to feel well, I feel well, I am getting better. However that is, and you just start saying that over and over and over again, don't feed the stomach pain. Don't feed any sciatic nerve pain or whatever. Put your hands on it. Give it love and grace. I choose to heal. I feel I'm healing. I am healing. Thank you. Then offer up gratitude and love. Thank you for this healing. And just start giving it love and grace instead of going, I can't go dancing because my hip hurts. I've got this hip thing going on and I can't go play volleyball or whatever the case may be. If you say you can't, you can't. But if you say, I can, and just go into it maybe in baby steps, the volleyball or the dancing or whatever, if you're a little nervous about anything. But that worry is going to feed it. The fear is going to feed it. But just start giving it some love and grace, and I bet you anything you're going to watch and see it healing.
So what would you tell 18-year-old Kim?
Oh, you're going to be fine. You're going to come out of this. You're going to do great. You're going to go far. Manifest your dreams in the best way. I was meditating the other day and this is what I saw. Okay. I'm laying on my table and I saw through me and through the table a drop of water, and it came out underneath me and just kind of dispersed like water does, or like a raindrop. Then it got bigger and went another drop and went further out into my office space. Then it went bigger and it went throughout Fort Collins. Then it went bigger and went out through Colorado. Then it got bigger and I could see the water just spread out. So to me, it's like I'm starting in a small space, and my words and my work are manifesting, and my healings are going to be helping others within this space right now, starting with me. Then it's going to be within my space. Then it's going to be within my town. Then it's going to be within my state. Then it's going to be out of the state. And I truly believe, I think when you get visions like that and manifestations like that, if you feed them like your practice, you need to feed this, that it's going to go big. And then just start saying, thank you. Thank you for the vastness of my podcast and the people that it's going to reach and the impact that it's going to have on me and others that listen. And if you believe it and you start proclaiming it, it's going to happen. And I believe that for you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I've been working on it. What you told me about, like, I will be successful. I choose to be successful.
That's right.
I feel successful. Like I've been working on it. I haven't done it every day, right, but I have been doing it for sure.
Well, so there's been a time when I've been devalued, right? People might mock me or say something that's unkind. And it's one of those, I have to constantly, daily say, I choose to be valued. I feel valued. I am valued. Because, if a negative thought comes into your mind, this conversation's over, and you need to flip it right then and there. And you need to put the spin on it of the gratitude and gratefulness and thankfulness. And so there's going to be a naysayer for everything. Everybody's going to have an opinion. It's just, if you're going to be setting your boundaries and be true and congruent to who you are, then that's where it's going to manifest and go for you. If you're going to believe all the naysayers, I'm not going to get anywhere. I'm not going to grow. And I don't want to be stagnant again. I don't want to not be anywhere. I don't want to get sick, right? So I need to figure out what's best and true for me, because they don't know maybe my story, or they don't know where I'm coming from, or where you're coming from and your intentions, right? So you just need to make sure that you just ask God or the universe to bring those to you that are in your highest and purest good. Ask for the most benevolent outcome. because that's huge. That's the best of the best of the best. And we want the best, right? God wants to give us the best. The universe wants to give you the best. So why not ask for it? Why just say, well, I'll take a nibble? Well, why? Ask for the best, right? That's not being selfish. Think of the people and the places that you can go by being on top or getting the best. And you can do it in a humble way. You can do it without being cocky. You know, we need to have confidence. We need to have humility, but we can ask for the best in the meantime. Or
that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is your future goals?
My future goals is to speak. I want to be able to speak.
Like at a conference?
Yeah. Yeah. I want to be able to share my words in the way that people will have that light bulb moment and get out of their sicknesses and their diseases and their misery and their guilt. They should not be living in such guilt and worry and shame. You're not going to manifest anything and grow anywhere. You're just going to, get sicker, be more miserable, and be hard-hearted. And again, what we see is in our hearts and comes out of our mouths. So, I don't want to be grumpy Kim. I don't want to be negative Kim.
No.
I don't want people around me to be negative. Because, you can walk into a room and you can tell if somebody's been there and if they're arguing.
Oh my God, yeah.
Or if there's been laughter,
yeah.
right? That's energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I want people to feel that happiness around me. I want them to feel a sense of security and safety around me. And I want to be in that environment. I don't want to be where I'm nervous or scared or, walking on eggshells because of whatever is going on. So that's just, again, that's energy. So that's partly what Reiki does. It deciphers some of that as well. Maybe something that you've picked up or something that you didn't or need to release.
Well, I got to admit, like at first when I heard about Reiki, I mean, I found it very intriguing, but I didn't know if it was legit or not.
Right.
And then of course, Heather,
Yeah.
because she got me in contact with other people and of course you. But yeah, I didn't know what to believe until I went to your session. I'm like, okay, I said, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Then I went the second time. I was like, okay, this is real.
Yeah.
Because my mother came through, her spirit came through.
Right.
When you was doing it, and that was pretty intriguing to me.
Right.
It was amazing.
Yeah. So I've been given a gift that's a little bit more intuitive. So a lot of times, like when I was working on you, I do a lot of yawning. Sometimes I will cough. I'm not sick.
Yes, you did.
And sometimes I will cry. And that's just me purging your released energy. Sometimes, and I don't know why we do this to men, but it's one of those, oh, don't cry, or suck it up, buttercup, or pull it up by the bootstraps. It's a God-given emotion. We are to laugh, we're to cry, we can get angry, we can have a good time, we can fear, not that we should live in any of those, but they're emotions that are within us. And so we need to learn how to grieve. And so we just need to learn how to work through those emotions, but again, not to stay in them and not to suffer. There's a difference there. Some people thrive in chaos. Some people thrive in suffering and in pain or negativity. And so, they're going to be miserable people, and there's going to be people not want to be around them. And I just choose not to be that type of person. And in my mindset and in my feelings, I feel when I breathe that I can feel it go through me and not get stuck or feel heavy-hearted. Because like I said, when you live in the truth, you're free. And when you live in a lie, there's, something's just not quite right here, or it's just not free-flowing.
That's why I'm honest on my show. I'm very honest about everything I've done and said or whatever. I'm like, it is what it is. It even made me look bad. I'm like, you know what? It is what it is.
We're all human, and there's nobody perfect, right? And nobody's immune to it. So we all have a dysfunctional family. I don't even know what a functional family is, because there's so many different things out there, right? We can't control everybody else. We're only responsible for ourselves, and we can only be accountable for ourselves. We can maybe help people and maybe guide and direct them if they're open to receive what it is that we have to say or do. But I can't make you do something that you don't want to do, and you can't make me do something I don't want to do. But I'll be accountable for those actions if they're not on the right path. And the same with everything else, good or bad.
Right. Mm-hmm. So do you think you'll be able to reach a lot of people with Reiki, or hopefully, maybe?
No, I will.
Okay. I like the confidence. I love it. I like that. Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, like I said, for me, you definitely reached me.
Yeah, good.
Big time. Yeah.
Good.
I'm a believer.
Oh, good. Thank you. And I appreciate that. And I like that you really felt something.
I did.
And you recognized it, because that opens up an awareness for you to where you're able to set those boundaries a little bit more. Because maybe, like I said before, I would be like, yeah, okay, we can go, whatever. I don't know. Now it's one of those, not feeling Italian tonight. Or, no, you can't have my phone number. It doesn't feel right to me. My spidey senses, my motherly instinct is screaming no. And everybody has their own knowing, their own way of knowing, whether it's an internal thing or a head thing. We all have our knowing. It's just recognizing it and then being true to it.
I was going to ask this: do you believe that animals can sense when you're a good person or not?
Absolutely.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Because people that have dogs, they dogs love me.
Sure,
they do.
Yeah, dogs can tell if you like people or if you don't. Cats can sense that as well. They can also sense things in the spirit world. They can see things that we can't see, or sense things that we can't see. Yeah, no, I believe that. I believe that even birds can sense it. Or, I don't know, people have all kinds of animals, ferrets and rats or whatever,
Right.
Yeah.
Snakes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they say, even elephants will mourn.
Oh, they're very smart.
Yeah. So, I mean, if they mourn over their own, I think they would know if you like them or if you were scared of them. A horse can tell if you're scared of them or not. So sure, animals are very intuitive.
They are. My mother always said they had souls, and I believe it.
Well, there's going to be, I know your mother was a Christian and so am I. There's going to be animals in heaven. It talks about it in the Bible. He's going to come back on a white horse. So I believe that my grandfather passed away on the operating table of a heart attack. And he was gone for a while, and they brought him back. And he's always said, he's passed since then, but he's always said, whatever you do, don't fear it. And there's colors of things that our human minds cannot describe. There's animals running around, and things that we think of here on earth are minuscule. I mean, we don't even think about them. There's no fear, there's no worry, there's no sorrow. It's just an unspeakable joy and laughter. So I believe it. I believe it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Me too. My mom was very avid about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she was. Yeah, but I ain't gonna say avid, but adamant.
Yeah.
That I meant to say.
Yeah.
Because I believe the same. I mean, because they hurt like we do.
Oh sure, of course they do.
They love like we do and everything.
Well, and they feel when you're not right.
Yeah, they do.
When you're sad, they feel that, and they're good comfort.
And sometimes I want an animal myself, but the fact is, like, I get attached to them pretty quick.
Yeah.
And if something happened, it would destroy me for real. It will. Yeah. Especially for like a dog died. I'm like, oh god, I got to mourn and all that. And right now, I got like so much going on right now, and they're expensive as well.
Yeah.
Everything's expensive.
Right. But you'll know when the time is right, and you'll know when you have the place for it. And you'll just have that intuitive knowing. Oh, because your guides and angels or God will put a dog on your heart, and you'll be thinking about it for a while, and you'll just know, oh, maybe now's the time. Do you ever have that thought when you go into a restaurant or you're driving home? I'll tell you, one time I was in a restaurant and I heard very clearly, this was years before I really listened and paid attention to it and then acted upon it. But I heard, you need to buy that man his dinner.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it. And that grieved me for a very long time, because I didn't listen to my inner self. I didn't listen to that Holy Spirit, or whatever you want to call it, that speaks to you, that dinner. Or I've heard, stop at this gas station. Now, it's not my usual gas station, but for some reason I'm supposed to stop here and get gas, and then come and find out that one's shut down for some reason, So it's like you hear these little whispers, and it's just, again, that knowing, because when you have that clarity within you and that awareness, you start getting these little nudges, or you start hearing these few things or words, and you need to just start acting on them. There's a reason behind it. We don't have to have whys. We don't need to have explanations of everything that goes on in our lives. Just a knowing and an understanding. Okay, I'm going to stop. So
that's something I struggle with. I always want to know.
Yeah.
I will obsess until I find the answer.
Yeah.
Well, I'm learning not to do that now.
Right. Good.
I'm trying. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and that'll all come in. I choose to have abundance. I feel abundant. I am abundant. Just keep claiming that, and it's going to come to fruition for you. And it's one of those things. I'm sorry, I just lost my thought. Can I have my thought back?
That's okay. I do it all the time. Especially when I'm tired. I do. Oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, I'll think of it and bring it back up again.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I want to ask this about Reiki. Is there like a big community of like Reiki around here that you know of?
There is. And, you know, and everybody's a little bit different with their method of what they do. They have the basic concept. But like I said, I yawn, cough, or cry. That's just a different method for me. Some people will drum. Some people will do crystal bowls. Some people will chant. Some people, I think some faiths play a factor into it, you know, so whatever they believe that way. So whether it's Buddha or Jesus or they don't, you know, whatever, I think part of that plays a little bit of a factor into their method as well. Mm-hmm.
So do you all know each other around here locally or no?
Some do. I've gone to a couple Reiki shares where...
Okay, I was going to ask about it. Okay.
Yeah. So they do have them, and it's where we work on one another. And
how's that experience?
My experience, it was different because everybody has a different way. And because I'm such a feeler, because like say when you come in, sometimes I can feel if you have shoulder pain, or I can sense your mother is present, or finger hurts, and I just kind of go to those spots because I feel that pain. I had one person working on the upper half of my body and somebody else working on the lower half of my body
at the same time.
Because it was one of the first Reiki shares that was there. I left feeling like I was I was the girl that was getting sawed in half at a magician show. I felt cut in half.
Yeah.
And I had to have a friend of mine put me back together, if you will, energetically speaking, because I just felt so out of sorts. So now it's one of those, everybody kind of work around the whole body for me because I'm so sensitive and what I'm feeling. So I would like to see support groups, us to sit and healers sit and talk with one another. I've had this experience. What do you think of this? Because sometimes you might feel something and not know what that was, or you might see something within your mind's eye and not have some clarity on it. But, you know, after meditation, things do come to you. But at that moment, you want to be able to help that client, but something new, or the experience is just new and it's coming up, or something deeper is coming up with a client that you're not quite sure how to deal with or what to think about. But it'll come to you. You just got to make sure that you ask for clarity.
Right.
And yeah.
So for somebody that's looking for a Reiki, how can they decipher between authentic Reiki Master or a fraudulent Reiki Master?
You know, so I had someone tell me that she was afraid to see me because she had a Reiki experience from someone in the past, that as soon as she walked in the room, she knew it wasn't the right place for her to be. So I think you need to ask questions. So I'm willing to do a 10-minute consultation with somebody if they want to come in, see my space, meet me, ask questions. I am so open to that because I want them to be open to what I'm giving them and what they're releasing, because then that's how they're going to heal, right? If they're scared and they're tense and they're holding on to it, they're not going to receive anything and they're not going to get a healing that they should get. So I think having that kind of consultation, asking questions, if they're a Christian, ask, are you a believer? If they believe in Buddha and they only want a Buddha one or whatever, ask your questions. Do you lay hands on them? Do you touch? Some people don't want touched. I will always ask, but I like to touch the shoulders and the elbows or whatever, because again, I can feel the heartbeat or the pulses, and I can tell if they're working together or against one another. And then that way, that helps me to figure out where I need to go on them, or where, or what's blocked, other than just feeling the heat or the cool above their body.
I felt that.
Yeah. So I would just ask questions. And if they're not willing to answer some of your questions, then maybe they're not the right one for you. But I feel like even with physicians, you're going to do your homework on your physician.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So you should be asking your questions, or your acupuncturist or your chiropractor or whomever you're reaching out to. You do questions for your church or your school that you want to send your kids to, right? Everybody's got a friend. They're doing a little homework on it. So I say ask questions.
Have you ever had clients that was atheists?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And they believe in Reiki?
They believe in Reiki.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. They might not know what they're believing, but they can tell a difference when they walk out the door. And I have several different religion clients that come in, and I'm okay with that. We have a common ground as far as why they are there. And so they get it, they understand it. And so we can just kind of work together with that way. I'm not there Bible thumping. That's not my job. Just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean I'm going to be Bible thumping you. That's not what I'm there for. I'm there to do my job, which is Reiki and parts of healing and helping you just be the highest and truest self that you can be.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. None judgment.
Oh, no judgment. Yeah. It's not for me to judge. It's not my place to judge.
Right.
Well, I don't want to be judged, so I'm not going to judge anybody.
Well, we're all imperfect people, right?
That's right. Yeah. And we've all gone through traumas of some sort, right? So again, nobody's immune to it. Everybody's got something. It's just whether you're willing to face it or not.
So have any of your previous clients besides me, had they contacted you and told you that they improve in their life or whatnot?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So how does it make you feel?
Oh, it makes me feel good because, then it makes me feel like what I'm doing, I'm fulfilling my purpose and I'm on my right path. Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
Yeah. I love what I do. I know this is what I'm called to do. And so I just keep asking and manifesting that I'm where I'm at. And again, my bubble, my raindrop, right, is going to expand. And I'm manifesting that and I'm believing in that.
You're perfect for the job, seriously.
Oh, well, thank you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when I first met you, when we sat outside on the bench, your energy, it was very present.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I'm at a place where I'm centered enough to where I could do it. Yeah. If you'd asked me this in my early 2000s or whatever, I wasn't healed enough myself. I was still
going through things.
But now I recognize it and I'm settled.
So how does your family feel about that? Like not your husband, but your relatives, how they feel about you doing Reiki?
Oh, it's just like with anything else, the unknown, they fear the unknown. Not everybody, but there's some, so that they're not quite sure what it is or what's going on, or she's hoodoo voodoo, you know what I mean?
Do they avoid you?
Oh, no, they don't avoid me, but they might not ask questions anymore about what I do. And that's okay because everybody has their own fears. Everybody has their own concerns. And so, if they want to talk about it, what they might not want to deal with is maybe their own trauma.
Well, that's most people, right?
Right. And so not a lot of people want to face that fear. And so they live in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you said earlier, I mean, in order to be free, you got to really face the music and be honest with yourself and just be true.
Right.
You have to be, you know, whether it's good or bad, you got to admit it.
And you don't have to tell the world.
No.
Right. No. You just need to find that confidant that you can truly trust.
Right.
And maybe confess that to them and feel that freedom because you're living within that truth and moving on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm doing right now. Like, I just want to help people. I want people to feel comfortable to be able to talk about things.
Yeah. And you are comfortable and you are approachable, which is a nice thing because there's nothing that we can't say that we don't feel like.
No.
I don't feel like anyway that you're going to like, did you hear about Kim? Let me tell you about her. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't feel that at all. I mean, the first time I met you, we had a couple-hour conversation and it was very easy and it was very comfortable.
It was very natural and organic.
Yeah, very organic. Yeah.
And that's why I try to have my platform. Well, just me as a person, I want people to feel comfortable with me in general.
Sure.
Because in order to make this thing work, I got to do that.
That's right. Right. And you are. So just keep manifesting that. And maybe during your meditation time, ask Ask to have the vision of the future for you. See how far we can go. That changes sometimes. Our dreams change over time, and that's okay. They change as you change. But see if you can expand it. Like my drop. I'm going to go out there. I feel it, and I'm going to vision it and claim it. And then I'm going to say thank you and offer up gratitude for it.
So do you believe you changed in the past 5 years?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Good, good. And that's how it should be, right?
Right. I think I've even changed in the past year, because every time you give Reiki, you receive, with meaning there might be more love and grace, or somebody might be going through something that maybe I didn't go through, but I have some more empathy for them feeling that and going through it. Or I might have gone through something that they're going through, but I'm looking at it differently, and I'm able to give them some love and grace as they're releasing it. And then we can feel that vibration and that love and grace at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I feel like even in the past year, I've even developed just being more calm driving down the road. I'm not aggravated because somebody cut me off.
Right.
Maybe they cut me off because I'm not supposed to be up a block up the road because something's going to happen up the road. Maybe I'm supposed to detour. I don't know. We don't always need to know why. Like the gas station thing, maybe we're just supposed to trust and just do it and be okay with it, and then offer up our gratitude. Yeah.
I'm working on that part. I mean, some days I do good and some days I kind of fail.
And we're all a work in progress, right?
That's true.
Everything's a lesson. Everything that we go through in life, every trial that we go through in life, what's the lesson in it? That's what you need to look at. What's the lesson in this for me? Or am I going to stay in the suffering of it? Right. You have two options. Which one's your better one? Learning the lesson.
Makes sense. Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
So I had another, I wondered about this as well. So when you first started doing Reiki, was it hard for you to let loose energy that you had consumed from other people?
No, that's why I do it barefoot. I do it barefoot because then that way you're not hanging on to anything. So if there's somebody that you talk to on the phone that is toxic, or you're around somebody that maybe comes into your house and there's a group of people and there's somebody that's toxic, you can envision a bubble. If you can try, you can put up a wall, so to speak, or a bubble that nobody's allowed within this space but me. So their energy is not allowed within this space. And a lot of times I take my shoes off to stay grounded, because it'll stop at your feet and then I'm going to feel it. It's going to radiate up and through me. It's a practice that you have to work on, but it can be done. But I always take my shoes off when I work on somebody.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And anytime somebody touches somebody, like an esthetician, they should work on people, a massage therapist, without shoes on, for sure. Because there's transference. Because we talked about hugging somebody, right? When you hug, you can feel whether or not you transfer energy.
Yeah.
So if you're touching somebody and you're working on them in a massage table, that masseuse might carry something or take something home with them that's not theirs.
That makes sense. So have you always been this way since you started Reiki, as far as like doing without your shoes?
Yeah, you know what? And I even tried it. I tried it with my shoes on and tried it with my shoes off, and I can tell immediately.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. So did you go home feeling depressed or feeling... No? Okay.
No, because then I took my shoes off and I just sat and cleared myself. You can do self Reiki. So I would do that on myself. I never feel overly tired. I don't get depressed. I don't bring on other people's garbage. They don't want mine. I don't want theirs. Oh. So I'm very cautious. I'm always praying. I'm always asking for the blood of Jesus to put a hedge about me and protect me, and put a bubble around me to where I don't carry anybody's garbage. How are we to move on? If you're transferring garbage from one to another, how are we going to get healed and move forward? We're not gonna. Right.
So is your husband into Reiki?
Yes. Well, he'll let me do Reiki on him. He's a private person, so I do it at home. There's been a few times he's come to the office, but it's not like he goes out and screams it to the world, I've had Reiki. But
I do.
Yeah, and thank you. And you may. But no, yeah, he lets me work on him. I can do the access bars of Reiki on him. Sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, he's open to it, right?
Right, he's my biggest supporter.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't think I would be where I'm at if I didn't have his support.
And honestly, you got to have an open mind,
right,
in order to make it work.
right. Well, and some people feel or have a knowing or a sense more than other people, right? Mine's a little more to the extreme than his. He gets it. He might not always understand it, just like a lot of other people, and that's okay. But he knows there's something there. Yeah.
Has he ever thought you was crazy before you got into that?
No, he would say, "You're acting weird. I'm not
Okay.
quite sure what to do with that." But then we would start talking a little bit more, or he would start getting it. And yeah, now it's like, oh, yeah, Kim's just being Kim. What are you sensing? What are you seeing? What are you feeling?
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I said my mind is wide open, so I'm open to a lot of different experiences. I just want to experience things and, like I say, just grow and evolve as much as I can.
Right.
Now, 10, 15 years ago, I could not envision that.
Right.
No, I was a whole different person. Well, I'm the same, but I'm different. That makes sense.
I get it. I get it.
Mm-hmm. Same body, of course, but just as far as like mentally, I was still stuck in my ways in some ways. But it's like now I just want to see what else is out there.
Right.
Pretty much.
Right.
So are you afraid of death? No. Okay.
I'm afraid of the suffering if I were ill or, I don't know, laying in a hospital in pain. I don't really fear it. I don't want to be in it.
No.
But who does, right? But no, I'm not afraid of dying. I'm not afraid of death.
I think the only part that I guess, not even fear, but it's like leaving people behind.
Oh. Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Like, as far as dying, it's like, nah, I mean, I seen that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to like leaving my siblings or whoever behind, that kind of get to me sometimes. But I don't obsess over that either, because it's detrimental. It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't serve me any justice at all.
Well, then just make sure no regrets. So send them that text.
Yeah.
Make that phone call.
Yeah.
However and again, you might hear it. Text my sister or whatever. Make sure you do it right then and there and not wait till tomorrow, because tomorrow might not happen, right?
That's true.
And I know we get busy within our day. So as soon as I hear it, I try to do it right then and there, even if it's an emoji, just to let them know I'm thinking of them. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be big. I talk to my mother every day or text her every day. We might talk for 2 minutes. We might talk for an hour, but it's just contact, right? Everybody likes to be acknowledged.
Absolutely.
Everybody likes to be known that they're loved by someone, however that looks. And so if your bestie's an emoji person, then just take that. Or if you've got one of those friends that sends you a funny meme, then that's what you go with, right?
Yeah,
we all have our thing. Some like to talk a lot and some don't.
So you and your mother pretty close?
Yeah.
Okay, good, good.
Yeah.
You guys talk like every week at least?
Oh, almost every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Me and my mom was like that too. We used to talk almost every day, and then some days we didn't talk. But yeah. But when she passed, that was rough.
Right.
That was rough because we had to go to the hospital and pull the plug, and that was just bad.
Sure.
Geez. But I did go to therapy.
Yeah.
I did. Let me see. 2 weeks after that, I went to therapy, and of course, you had the pandemic that happened the following month. And that's when I stopped going, because they want me to do like a virtual call, and I said no, I can't do that.
Right.
I'm a one-on-one type guy.
Right.
I have to be in person
Right.
with things like that.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm an advocate of that, and now it's like now with the Reiki thing, I'm an advocate of that as well.
Well, it's just one more tool,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
So there's nothing wrong with talking to somebody. You're just paying for it with therapy.
Absolutely.
I mean, because we all have that confidant that we can talk to and feel safe with, whether it's a bestie or a family member. Therapy, you're just paying for it, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just one more tool, and Reiki is just one more tool to help you release some of those aches and pains or energies that you're holding on to or whatever. So there's nothing wrong with it, and people shouldn't be ashamed of it. Yeah, but
well, it's good we're having this conversation, because hopefully more people will start feeling more comfortable to even go that route.
Right.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too.
But people in general are really obsessed with toxic.
Right. They are. They live in the chaos.
They do. I'm just like, I mean, I've been there. I get it in a way, but it's such a defeated feeling to me.
Right.
Even when I was watching the news like years ago, I used to watch it all the time. And the way I felt so depressed. I felt lethargic. And once I stopped watching it all together, like cold turkey, I started to feel better.
Right.
I did. My spirit was lifted.
Right.
I started eating better. Just in general, I started thinking differently as well.
I believe it. Again, what you see is in your heart, comes out your mouth. And
Absolutely.
it's exactly how you feel.
Yeah.
You know, so it can be. So if there's something that consumes you to the point of anxiety, you better rethink whatever that is. And maybe you need to think about getting rid of it or setting a limit for yourself. You know, maybe only a half an hour instead of an hour of whatever that is. But you're going to have to take charge of that on your own.
So you don't watch the news, do you? Not really.
Not really.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm not on Facebook. I don't watch the news. When I watch TV, it's a comedy. I like things that are funny. Sometimes the Dateline 2020 shows bother me because I feel things, right? So I try not to watch those shows too much. Yeah, so I watch things that make me laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do the same thing too, but I watch sports as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even like boxing, MMA, I love it. I mean, because I used to train in that stuff. So,
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some people think it's barbaric, but I don't know. I love it.
Well, everybody has a passion.
They
right?
do. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I won't compete in it no more. No, because the brain damage is real.
Mm-hmm.
But I do respect the art of it.
Right.
It's an art. And also just the spirituality of it as well. It's very spiritual in a lot of ways.
Well, sure, because you got to get very centered with yourself.
You have to.
Yeah.
You got to cut everybody off. You got to just focus on that situation. Right. You know, you got to eat healthy. Well, some people don't, but you got to eat healthy. Right. Don't drink alcohol, which some people do.
Right.
If you get invited to parties, you don't go. You just got to go to the gym and just focus. And that's what I've done once upon a time. I do that. Of course, I go to school. I was going to a trade school once upon a time because I was going for a computer degree and also went for cybercrime. I didn't finish my cybercrime. I should have.
Yeah.
I would have made some real good money out there, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I took
well, you know, and they talk smack, right?
Mm-hmm.
MMAs or boxers.
Yeah.
And so you have to really be centered within yourself to be able to handle if somebody's talking smack, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also to sell the fight too.
Right.
Because a lot of these people, they real like, you know, like real good friends, but it's like in public they gotta put this persona. Well, some of them do hate each other, some of them do.
Yeah.
But once they fight, they have this camaraderie. They can just be like, you know, like boys, like brothers, whatever. And I don't know, it's that warrior type thing.
Right.
And I love it.
Yeah.
I do. I know it's crazy, but I love it.
No, that's all good.
Yeah, we all have our own vices.
That's right.
But yeah, so I got to do another session one day.
Oh, I would love to. Yeah, you need to come in.
I do. I need to come in. I got to figure out when and what day and what time and your schedule, your availability.
Yeah, so I'm there Monday through Fridays.
Right.
Occasional weekends, if I know ahead of time, I'll work with anybody. If they want to come in for a 10-minute consultation or give me a call and ask questions, I highly recommend it. You know, let's just see if we mix. You know, see if you like me or if I feel like that you would be a good fit. I've had to release one person. Yeah, we just didn't mix. There was just, I think she was fighting it too much and testing me, but then not really wanting to let go of her chaos and her problems.
She didn't believe or something?
Well, she says she did. But you know, the body will always tell you the truth.
Absolutely.
And the head will lie. So when you come in and you tell me something, I'll be able to tell right off the bat just by your body, the way you lay, the temperature, or if you're telling me about the pain, or if I feel the pain. So I'll be able to tell whether or not you're in alignment or not just by that. So you either want to be there or you don't. And she didn't, and that's okay. That was her choice. So I'm hoping she found somebody that works for her. But everybody else has come back, and I'm appreciative for that. And we've really made some headway with some traumatic problems. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's been fun to watch somebody get stuck from the beginning, and then their transformation of where they're at now, maybe a year or even 6 months. You know, from when they have come in, and how they've learned who they are, what they like, setting their boundaries, and then being awakened enough to recognize, oh, I know what this is. I know where this pain's coming from, or I know what emotion just happened, and I'm going to face it, right? And that's a fun thing for me, that awakening.
Yeah. So what do you want people to understand about Reiki?
Reiki is it's moving, it's powerful, it works. It can be scary if you're having to face the fear of something that might have happened that you're not ready for, and that's okay. Again, your body will say, no, not now. And we'll just skip it. And we'll come back to it when the layer is ready again, right? So it's nothing that's going to hurt you. I want to do it for everybody because, we shouldn't be walking around in such chaos, fear, and pain. But we have to overcome those fears and you have to be willing to do it. So I'm just the vessel to help people overcome some of that.
Yeah, nah, that's incredible. Do you think people are indoctrinated by whatever they was taught on why they don't want to do Reiki?
Oh, sure. Yeah. And especially like being a Christian, sometimes people were thinking that's not
witchcraft or something.
Yeah. And and it talks about in Corinthians the gifts of the Spirit.
Right.
And everybody has their own gifts, right? So I'm when Reiki happens, I pray over everybody because believe it or not, there's weird energies, there's bad energies, and there's good energies, right? I don't want that within my space. So I do always say a prayer with that. But I lost it.
That's okay. I get
it. Yeah. I was going somewhere with that.
No, I do it
but,
too.
So, I think with what you're taught, again, that's the fear of living in the unknown. So that's why the questions are important. If you call me or ask the questions or do some research to find out different modalities of it and then find the one that works best for you, then you can go from there and get the help that you're needing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I hope more people be more in tune with it.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's all we can do because it's an incredible thing. Yeah. I definitely recommend it. Like I said, I'm an advocate of it now. I am.
Good.
Yeah, because I told my sister about it as well, and because she wanted to know, she was very well. She read about it as well, but she was really intrigued by it, and I explained to her like what I went through when I done it with you, and I told a buddy of mine as well, and I explained to her. I said, "Yeah, my mom's spirit came through." Yeah, which was pretty intriguing to be honest. Yeah, because I felt it. Right. Because I know how she feels. I do. So. Right.
Well, sometimes, and again, it's just a gift. Yeah. Sometimes I smell things. So I might not know what that smell is, but it's not for me. It's for you. Right. So, and again, we might sense things like you sensed your mother or what have you, or I might hear that little whisper of something. Mm-hmm. So, I just share it with you. And it's one of those, maybe right now you don't remember it, or maybe like, oh, yeah, I know who that is. Yeah, okay. They're for you. It's a message for you, not for me. I'm just the vessel.
Wow, you do some incredible work.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just in awe. Seriously.
Well, I enjoy it because, I live in the truth of it because I know I have the gift, and this is my purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, it's funny because the older I get, I'm meeting more people that's into like different spiritual realms, mm-hmm. which is pretty cool. Well, it's mostly females I meet that's in different spiritual realms. Yeah. They seem to be more open to that than guys. Yeah. Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe from my experience. Yeah. It just seemed to be the case.
Well, we all need to have a spiritual realm, and then a physical realm, and an energy. We need to take care of our bodies. Yeah. Right. Inside and out, and then have that spiritual realm. We need to believe in something, and even if it's nothing, that's something. But you need to have some kind of foundation to give you a faith base to just feel like there's a purpose to exist within this environment, right? So I think it's important whether you pray to the plant or pray to God. There's something. Yeah. Right. So I think it's important that we have that we can maybe take that moment and pray about or read about or what have you.
So you feel like structure is very important?
Very.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so too, because a lot of people would be super lost. They have some kind of structure or belief. Right. Yeah. Pure anarchy, if you ask me. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. Well, Kim, this has been incredible.
It has.
It really has. Like I appreciate you for doing this.
No, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure, and I'm really glad that we got to meet and connect.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad you came in and experienced it.
Yeah, it was great.
And I would love to have you come back.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm a believer now.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, because at first I'm like, I don't know, but now, guys, it's real. Trust me, it is really real. And thank you, Heather. I appreciate that for real.
Yeah, thanks, Heather. Yeah,
she's gonna watch this because I told her about
good.
it.
Good.
Yeah, she's really excited.
Good.
Big time. So I still got to interview her too about her book.
Yeah.
One of these weeks, whenever. But yeah,
it'll happen at the right time.
It will.
All things happen at the right time. I don't believe in coincidences. I think just like with you and I meeting, you know, and then the time frame, you were on vacation, I was on vacation, you know, type of thing. So it's now's the right time. So just like with everything that happens within our days, you know, or, you know, you want to go on that trip and it's just not lining up. I'm having to fight the getting a ticket or renting a car or getting a VRBO or whatever. You know, if you have to fight it and it just doesn't flow evenly, it's not meant to happen at that time. You just need to let the universe just kind of take it and go with it. It'll work out better than if you had tried it on your own.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Recipe for disaster.
Right.
Much, yeah.
That's so true.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So what is the name of your office so people can find it?
Yep. So it's my name. So it's kimleightyr. I'm on Instagram. I don't do a whole lot on it, but you can reach me on that. Okay. I kind of get a little bored with social media.
Understandable.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I don't like it either. I just use it for my podcast and fitness stuff now.
Right. So it's kim.energy Reiki. And that's REIKI Reiki. My email isn't working right now. I got a new phone, so I'll have to get that information for you if you can add it later. I don't know. Yeah, you have an iPhone or Android? I have an iPhone. Okay. I got a new phone. Okay. Are you judging my phone? No, not at all. No. That's funny. As long as it works. Hey, that's amazing. For the most part, it works. Well, okay. So what you could do, you could just text me the information for your email. Yeah. And I could just put in the description. Yeah. On like Spotify and stuff like that. Yeah. Or you can give me a call. I could do that too. Oh, me? Oh, you talking about people? The people. Oh, the people. My bad. Yeah. Sorry. But you can too. Okay. All right. Wow. I told you I'm tired. It's been a long day. We'll wrap this up. Yeah. So the number, should I give the number or should if you want it? That's up to you. It's your call. Yeah. The ball in your court. Yeah, I'll give it. You just got to dunk it. Go ahead. All right. So 970-402-3821. So give me a call for a consultation if you want to, or just call for the appointment. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that. All right. Stay tuned in for the next episode, and I appreciate this for real. It's been fun. I gotta give you a hug. Yes. Oh yeah, a hug from the heart to heart. No, you good. That's okay. Not liver to liver. No. You exchange garbage that way. Exactly. That was amazing. Amazing stuff. But anyways, thank you for coming through once again, sharing your information, and just help people get more enlightened. Yeah. I think it's very important. And guys, thanks for checking, and stay tuned in for the next episode. Bye. Bye.